A user asked how to make countersunk screws using Tinkercad. I've got a strategy, so let's get cracking. Step one is to visit tinkercad.com. I always choose sign in with Google. This is the homepage. These are your 3D designs. You have the choice of making 3D designs, circuits, or code blocks. Today we're going to make a 3D design. Normally they are all saved as private, but you do have the option to make them public. Today we're going to hit create new 3D design. I like to start by naming my projects. This one's going to be CS for countersunk, and it's going to be screw. Now, if this is your first time seeing Tinkercad, we generally build with solid shapes. You can stack them on top of each other. You can put them on any face. You can build super quick this way. As soon as you do put things in, they are automatically saved. I just want to show you, if we back up to the dashboard, bang, there's our project. To re-enter your saved project, you simply hit Tinker this. Now, once upon a time, I would have built this with this cone, but I don't need to anymore. Check this out. I'm going to bring out this cube. I'm going to quickly stretch it to 6 by, say, 80 or whatever, and then we're going to countersink into this. Well, we're going to do it with the brand new Sketch Revolve. When I bring this out, I'm going to set it on a 20 by 20 grid. This just makes it line up nice inside. Now, if you've never used the sketch tool before, I do want to highlight the sketch features. This area always shows us what is brand new and cool. It is always worth checking out. You can click through these at your leisure. There are animations that help make it more clear. They also have audio. You can move through these and learn all kinds of amazing skills that you can use in all of your projects. Once you're done clicking through them, of course, you can click the X and return to this screen. If you prefer my tutorials, I do have a bunch of them in a playlist. I've got a bit.ly that'll take you to the playlist that I'll put right here. For this project, we're only going to use a line, and we also need to know the measurements of the screw we're working with. Now, the user mentioned cap screw and cone, so I'm assuming that we're talking about a wood screw. If it is a different shape screw, you just change the profile from what I show you here. Well, I'm doing make-believe, but let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that I have got a 6mm screw, so that way I'm going to do a radius of 3. I'm going to bring this up, let's say 4mm, that's how far I'd want it to go in. And then if we measure the head of that screw, I'm going to say that mine comes out to what would be 6. And then I'm just going to click and finish the part. When we hit finish sketch, check it out. We have just built a part that we can make a hole. All right, so now that we've got our fun part, let's get this aligned. I'm going to start by bringing out the ruler, and I'm going to put it right on one of these corners of the grid. That snaps perfect, so now I can click on this shape. And if I change these numbers to the exact measurements, see how this is 71? If I make it -71 and press enter, it snaps to that line. This dimension that's 22, if I make it 0 and press enter, it snaps right there. If I click on this shape, I can make it move to the exact spot I want. Say I want it to be 10 right here. If I type 10, bang, it snaps to a distance of 10. If I wanted to measure from the middle of that shape or the dotted line, I can switch to midpoint. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually change it to 20. So that way I know I've got a decent gap that way. And then instead of 30 this direction, I'm just going to walk this in and show you. If I do 0, it's half and half on each side. If I change it to -15, just like that, from its midpoint, we're 15 over. Of course, now I would want to make these match so that it looks cooler. There's 15 by 15. And then I do want to sink it in. I'm going to do that by doing L for a line, clicking on the red one to make it the master, and bang, setting them for the top. When I do Control G to group, we have just instantly placed a countersunk screw hole. How cool is that? Real quickly, let's put them in all the corners. I'm going to simply ungroup it, click on that piece, and do Control D. I'm going to shift nudge over. I'm going to bring the ruler out, but to make it even easier, I'm going to go to a whole millimeter nudge. That way it'll just snap right to that corner. As soon as I get it to the corner, I can click on the shape. And once again, we know we want 15, which we've got, and we were so close on 15 this way. We do, of course, want to make sure that we're using the midpoint. If it says use endpoint, that means you are using the midpoint. I'm going to do this same step for the other side. Once again, dismiss the ruler, add the ruler. We want to put it right on this corner, and we're going to do one more thing tricky here. When we click this, we can rotate it the other way. All I did was click on that point. I can hide this for a second. We can grab these, do Control D, Shift nudge down close. Once we do Show All, where this says 17, we simply want to switch it to 15 and press Enter. Dismiss the ruler, grab it all, and do Control G to group. All right, so as I wrap up, I do want to say thanks for the question. Love projects like that. Simple skill, but if you haven't ever thought about it, you may not know how to make it all come together. Of course, friends, I do want to say thank you to everybody that supports me via my YouTube memberships. There are 3 different levels of support, starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Also, a massive shout out to the people that are supporting me via Patreon. Love how that group is growing. We have passed 300 members. It has a fantastic discussion area. You can ask questions, post designs, and gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe, you're helping HLModTech get just a little bit bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day and keep tinkering.